afternoon. It's always a pleasure having you join us on the news at 4. I am Ogochkuka Ona. President Tinubu proclaims express employment for applicants who successfully completed the one-year National Health Fellows Program. And the program is an initiative of the Federal Ministry of Health designed to drive the Renewed Hope initiative in the health sector through innovation. And speaking at their inauguration, President Tinubu says they were recruited to work with health practitioners at the primary health care centers across the 774 local government areas of the country. Underscoring government's commitment to invest in human capital development, the National Health Sector Fellows underwent 1 year of intense tutelage before their inauguration. For 6 months, effective 6th March 2025, for violation of Senate rules. The suspension is as recommended by the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition.
That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Agbochu-Uduaghan for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended, for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Nigerian Senate in general to a public opprobrium. Those in support of prayer one say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Other penalties on the embattled Senator Natasha Uduaghan include preventing her from accessing her office as it will be locked up. Her salaries and allowances have also been suspended for the 6 months, while her security details are withdrawn. Senate also unanimously adopted the recommendation barring Natasha from representation at events within and outside the country as Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Natasha has also been barred from coming to the National Assembly during the period. And now the House of Representatives has called for an investigation into incessant flight delays in the aviation industry, as well as attendant economic losses to air passengers and businesses. Lawmakers at Thursday's plenary expressed worry that while flight delays and cancellations persist in the aviation industry, defaulting airlines evade liability for damages to travelers. The House called for a comprehensive probe and enforcement of punitive measures against defaulting air carriers. The House also resolved to investigate the utilization of bailout funds to government-owned enterprises, as well as ministries, departments, and agencies of government from 2015 till date.
Except the air carrier proves that it and its servants or agents took all measures that could reasonably be required to avoid the damage. To mandate the House Committee on Aviation to cause the Ministry of Aviation to put in place protocol for the reinforcement of punitive measures against air carriers.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has handed over her helicopter to the Nigerian Air Force. It was acquired by the state government as part of its commitment to enhancing aerial surveillance and emergency response capabilities across the Niger Delta region. Osinachi Samuel reports that the ceremony was witnessed by the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar.
The helicopter is procured by Rivers State government and donated to the Special Operations Group of the Nigerian Air Force. Governor of Siminalayi Fubara says the gesture is a demonstration of his administration's commitment to supporting the federal government in providing logistics and facilities that will enhance smooth and swift operation for the safeguard of lives and property of people within the oil-rich region.
We all agreed that the success of the operation of the Air Force in securing critical assets is paramount to us.
Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar says the helicopter, which is a strategic boost to national security, will no doubt add value to their operations.
We remain deeply grateful to the Rivers State government for its consistent support and dedication to our well-being over the nearly 6 decades that we have been here.
High point of the ceremony was the signing of the procurement documents between the Rivers State government and the Nigerian Air Force. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says it is targeting to improve power transmission in the country up to 10,000 megawatts of electricity by the end of next year, 2026. Managing Director of TCN, Sule Abdulaziz, made the commitment at the State House during a briefing organized by the presidential media team called Meet the Press. Nigeria on Tuesday reached a milestone in power generation, generating 5,801 megawatts of electricity, while same was transmitted by the TCN. However, TCN, with current capacity to transmit over 8,000 megawatts, says it is working and targeting to improve the capacity in the next 2 years. The managing director says government has commenced the gradual process of overhauling the aging national grid and disclosed that the company is making significant progress in the installation of supervisory control and data acquisition to manage disturbances on the grid.
Nigeria will conveniently evacuate 10,000 megawatts generated power. By the time we have that SCADA completed, we will be able to see real time whatever is happening on the grid. You don't need to use phone and call somebody. You don't have to think something, hey, maybe this is how it will do. No, real time. Whatever is happening, you will see it. However, to enable us to manage the grid in absence of SCADA, we develop the generation load drop sensitivity, which we call GLDS system, which detects and responds to sudden drop in power generation, preventing cascading failures. Additionally, all our substations have now been fully digitalized and automated.
Now, enforcement of laws to engender peaceful coexistence and sanity in the state remains a cardinal objective of the Anambra State government. But the way and manner the agents of the state go about achieving this objective sometimes appear to question the place of human rights and dignity. Benson Osadebe in this special report examines the activities of these state agents and their modus operandi.
Of this act of violence, government enforcement team usually comprise of security agents who ensure safety of government officials while discharging their duties of enforcing laws. Respondents observed the trend is disturbing, particularly when the law enforcement agents in the government team are indifferent, when citizens are being manhandled and in some cases valuables destroyed or made away with.
So I was trying to video my shop. The way they were destroying it, they started struggling for my phone. And before I know what is happening, more than 20 of them they started beating me. At the end of the day, they left with my phone.
My leg. These people, they wound me. We wanted to video the thing. They seized the phones.
If there is a law establishing those people, those anti-tout people, there is a law, then we know whether the law says use this means to arrest them or use it to correct them. If it isn't, then they have a way. They can go to court.
There is no law that does not apportion responsibilities to the enforcers. At the end of the day, what we call a standard operational procedures, SOP, we have to apply. Code of conduct, we have to apply.
To address these concerns, some believe it's crucial to establish mechanisms for seeking redress by victims of human rights violations. This could include independent investigations, prosecution of offenders, and compensation for victims. From Oka, Benson Osadebe, NTA News.
And for more on where the rights of government officials and citizens start and stop, let's now cross over to Benson Osadebe, this time live, for his findings. Let's get Benson. Yes, Benson from Oka. So tell us, what are your findings?
Thank you, Ogochukwu. In explaining the boundaries between government officials' rights and citizens' rights in Anambra State, particularly regarding bullying, while enforcing anti-touting laws or any other law for that matter, shows that government officials have the right to enforce laws, including anti-touting laws, to maintain public order and safety. They have also the right of protection from harassment or physical harm while performing their duties. However, citizens also have the right to freedom from harassment, intimidation, or physical harm from government officials or any other one else. That being said, what we saw from the reports we just watched showed that while it is wrong to engage in touting or building on unapproved sites, the modus operandi of the anti-touting agents negates the principle of the law that established them. In all, respecting the above-mentioned boundaries, government officials and citizens can work together to maintain public order and safety while protecting the rights and dignity of all individuals. These respondents believe we go a long way in assisting the state government achieve its objective in the area of anti-touting crusade that it has been canvassing for.
All right, Benson, you said it all. Working together to know where my right starts and where it stops. I think that would bring about the much desired peace in that place. Thank you so much for your contribution, Benson. All right, from Oka in Anambra State, we cross over to Lagos. I can see Adiola there. Adiola, what do you have?
Kuka, good to see you. The federal government has reassured stakeholders in the industrial sector of an inclusive and sustainable business environment that will produce real impact and shape Nigeria's industrial revolution. Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Eno, gave the assurance at an engagement with women industrialists in Lagos to forge a new pathway that will drive industrial transformation and economic prosperity, with women as leading policymakers. Imeldo's report is here presented.
Over the past decades, the nation's industrial sector has faced significant challenges in economic growth and transformation. As Nigeria moves towards a resilient and inclusive industrial future, the need to recognize that women are not just participants in this evolution, but leaders and architects of change. Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Eno, said partnering women industrialists is crucial and will translate to tangible outcomes that will stimulate local economy for industrial growth and drive the needed evolution in the sector.
Fortunately, the 8-point agenda of Mr. President also has emphasis on inclusion and inclusiveness. First, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has shown a lot of commitment to solving our industrial challenges and issues and problems. And I think that, I just inaugurated the Industrial Revolution Work Group about 2 weeks ago. That work group is, for me, a one-stop shop that has to do with people from different backgrounds.
Empowering women through access to finance, infrastructure, technology and trade opportunities were some actionable strategies suggested for a gender-inclusive industrialization.
We can drive innovation, enhance productivity, and create jobs. However, this transformation can only occur if we are given a seat on the table.
The border between Nigeria and Cameroon, we are an ECOWAS country, and this is a very viable corridor between ECOWAS and ECAS, but not much activity is being done there.
We discover that women are always stopping on the way because the passion actually do not have support. But with a long conversation that we have with the minister, a lot of women have some sort of network.
Recommendations reached are expected to be integrated into the industrial policy framework to reshape the nation's industrial sector.
In a bid to improve the distribution and transmission infrastructure of the power sector in Nigeria, the Minister of Power has hinted that more consumers will be upgraded to Band A. Are Nigerians open to this move? And what impact will this have on consumers in various sectors, as well as the advantages? Adejoke Odeka will tell us more.
The power sector in Nigeria is extremely important as it is considered a critical infrastructure for the country's economic development. With this in mind, the federal government recently announced plans to regularize the country's electricity tariffs in order to address the significant disparity in tariffs between different consumer bands and other problems bedeviling the power sector.
The gap between the Band A tariffs and the Band B and C, D and E is just too wide. And the Band B that is enjoying 18, 17 hours is paying 63 naira. While someone has enjoyed 12, 20 hours, 2 hours difference.
The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, disclosed that the tariff review does not necessarily imply an increase, but aims to boost revenue, drive sectoral growth, and upgrade aging infrastructure for a more reliable power supply. Experts say that the move is indeed important to ensure a well-patterned and integrated synergy in the power sector.
Band A means you get a minimum of 20 hours of electricity. Band B means you get a minimum of 16 hours. Band C means you get a minimum of 12 hours. D means 8 hours minimum. And E means 4 hours. So government wants to ensure that there's fairness.
Do Nigerians believe this move will mitigate challenges in the power sector?
It's better I pay like 5,000 naira or 2,000 every day and enjoy life. Is it not good?
Actually, it will still liberate us so that the power sectors can have more revenue.
It is expected that this will promote investments in the power sector amidst calls by potential investors for a cost-reflective tariff regime in the country. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
And we are done with our contributions from Lagos for now. Nationwide will continue with Charles Alba in Makurdi after this time out.
Glad that you could stay. This is Makurdi. I'm Charles Abba. The paramount ruler of the Idoma Nation, His Royal Majesty John Odogbo, and other concerned personalities are calling on security agencies to close ranks in the fight against insecurity, especially vandalism, before it gets out of control. This follows the vandalism of property of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Community Station in Otukpo, Benue State. Moses Ajao Ode reports.
The establishment of community substations of the Nigerian Television Authority across various senatorial districts was geared towards improving information dissemination, bringing governance closer to the people with the focus of projecting cultural values of the various ethnic groups of the nation. While others continue to live up to expectations, the NTA substation situated in Otukpo, Benue South Senatorial District has been left in shambles by vandals.
We are able to put the mass that they want to vandalize. What was remain of it was what we tried to put our heads together and see how we can evacuate it from this place to the Ochidoma's palace.
Recently, some persons came that they want to plot out the place. That the NTA is not serious again. They want to plot out the site. You understand? So honestly, and people need to also wake up.
This necessitated the visit of the management team of NTA Network Center, Makurdi, led by the Zona Director, Pam Dung Nyam, to interface with various community leaders, including the paramount ruler of the Idoma Kingdom, to intimate him on the level of damage as well as to have a first-hand information on other emerging issues affecting the substation.
My pain is that when this station was set up at the time it was one of the best NTA stations in the country because it was fully digitized with high-definition signals. Today, it is a shadow of what was meant to be.
His Royal Majesty John Odogbo Elaiwo V, who spoke off camera, and other stakeholders acknowledged the importance of NTA to his kingdom and Nigeria.
I say, perfect, quickly go there. Whatever you can sustain. This, make sure nobody takes anything from there. Only to say that, I've sent Perfect there to come and remove this thing so the committee wouldn't agree. As soon as I called him over, that come, what's going on? Before he went back, part of what he was protecting, or he went there to protect, had disappeared.
Among the items vandalized are the tower mast, roofing sheets and electric cables, as well as the windows and doors.
While the government continues to make life more easy for the populace, vandals at the other end continue to vandalize government properties for their own selfish gain. From Otupo, Benue State, Moses Ajao Udi.
Issue of vandalism, let's now talk security proper, where the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 4, AIG Zachariah Farah, has presented checks worth 15 million naira to the families of 2 police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports that the ceremony took place at the Zonal Command headquarters in Makurdi.
Presenting the checks to the families of the Slade police officers, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zachariah Farah, emphasized that the gesture was not a compensation, but support to ease the family's pain.
The purpose of this also is to motivate other servant police members that the force will continue to be with them at all times.
The AIG explained that the initiative, which is being headed by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, aims to honor the gallantry of the fallen officers and motivate serving officers. He described the gesture as a way to show appreciation for the sacrifices made by the officers in service to the nation. Beneficiaries applauded the gesture and commended the Nigerian police force for alleviating their plight.
To use this opportunity to appreciate the Nigerian police, the IG, for this opportunity, this amount of money, the check being given to me, that I am very, very grateful.
In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
That's the size of our contribution from Makurdi Ogochukuka. It is back to you.
Thank you, Charles. And now the Renewed Hope initiative is set to launch Flow with Confidence, an intervention designed to distribute 370,000 cartons of disposable sanitary towels to school children across the country. The intervention, announced by First Lady Oluremi Tinubu at the first RHI quarterly meeting with state coordinators in 2025, headlines other programs lined up by the initiative for implementation in the year. State House correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
It is the first quarterly meeting of RHI state coordinators, and the conference room of the First Lady's office is abuzz with excitement and expectations as wives of state governors arrive to get their brief for the year. They all got a pat on the back from the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, who applauded their commitment towards the realization of RHI goals last year. For year 2025, the health of the girl child tops the agenda as she announces plan by RHI to provide them with disposable sanitary towels that will boost their confidence to attend school even while having their monthly flow.
I want you to personally hand over a carton of sanitary towels to each child that comes. I want you to consider those in the rural communities. Those are the ones who will concentrate on that cannot afford. So we're going to be giving 10,000 to each state.
Bothered about the threat posed by plastic waste to the environment, the First Lady outlines plans by RHI and the Ministry of Environment to enlist the support of students to protect the environment.
We're going to start with environment climate change clubs for secondary school, senior secondary school, not junior. Because they might have to go out, because we might have to clean beaches for those people who are in riverine areas. Either their waterways and things like that, we might want to go. And then environment climate change society for students studying environment that are in the Faculty of Environment in various tertiary institutions. There's nothing wrong with the state having a recycling plant. So when you get to your various states, please intimate your husbands.
From where the initiative left off last year in the provision of business recapitalization grants to people with disabilities, the First Lady announced plan to increase the grant to 250,000 naira for 250 beneficiaries per state.
And on the 24th March, there is the World TB Day. Community outreach will be in FCT for me.
In our projection for year 2025, the First Lady was upbeat about the new year, describing it as the year that love can birth great things for Nigeria. It is now time for that vision to move to the realm of reality, explaining why she's having this critical meeting with state RHI coordinators, our co-travelers, and the critical business of interventions. From the enthusiasm in the room, it is clear that the lot of families and other vulnerable groups in the country will get better in the unfolding year. In the State House, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Thank you, Adeniyi. And the news will now continue from our Ibadan Network Center. Kemi, you're on.
Chukwukan, welcome to Ibadan. African countries have the capacity to ensure food sufficiency in the world, apart from meeting their local needs. This was stated during a high-level panel discussion held at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, Ibadan, as part of activities in honor of Sierra Leone's President Dr. Julius Maada Bio. Correspondent Ayomiku Ajibola has the details.
The high-level panel discussion had President of Sierra Leone, Dr. Bio, Governor of Oyo, Borno, and Plateau States. Dr. Bio said Africa will not be spending over $50 billion annually to import food if a leader could leverage their political will, technology, and requisite fund to ensure food security on the continent.
We need to have regional cooperation, which AFES refer to be able to act together.
While sharing his administration's experience on the successful and impactful agribusiness initiative implemented in Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde said his administration focused on agribusiness, knowing that it could be a major drive of the state economy and also help to achieve the vision of taking people from poverty to prosperity and tackling hunger.
And when we fix the infrastructure, the private businesses will come there.
Governor of Borno and Plateau State also shared experience of their respective states.
We supported over 500,000 of them, up to 1 million of them within the last 1 year, by giving them agricultural inputs, fertilizer, seeds.
Many of the people that are in the public sector have requisite knowledge in their fields of expertise, but they have not been given the political environment to be able to thrive.
The Sierra Leonean leader later joined Oyo State Governor and his Plateau State counterpart for a facility tour of Oyo State Agribusiness Initiative Hub, Fashola, where Governor Seyi Makinde charged the Sierra Leonean leader to adopt Oyo State agribusiness model for his country. The Sierra Leonean president, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, has departed Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, after his 3-day visit. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde says his administration will continue to do everything needed to foster harmony among the various religions in the state. The governor said this during the 11th annual Ramadan lecture held at the Government House Arcade, Ibadan. Ayomiku Ajibola again has the details.
This Quranic recitation signifies the commencement of the 11th Omitotun Ramadan public lecture, while maintaining that religious tolerance and peace being witnessed in the state will continue. Governor Seyi Makinde appreciated various religious faith organizations in the state for maintaining harmony. The governor pledged to intensify effort towards taking the state to greater heights.
When we're united and we have peaceful coexistence, then we can even achieve more. For unity and for stability in our state.
His lecture titled Benefit of Being a Good Neighbor, an Islamic Perspective, The chief imam of Ogbomoso, Yunus Olushina, tells us, reiterated that one of the qualities of good Muslim is to be kind to their neighbors, irrespective of their race, tribe, or religion. The Ramadan lecture, which was organized by Governor Seyi Makinde, was attended by top government functionaries, traditional rulers, and Islamic leaders across the state, among other dignitaries. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
That does it from Ibadan. Ogochukuka, it's back to you.
Thank you for staying tuned. Nigeria now has standards and guidelines for organ and tissues transplantation services in the country. The document is expected to block loopholes in organ donation and transplantation procedures, as well as protect parties involved. Was launched in Abuja by the National Tertiary Health Institution Standards Committee in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. Sawal Khalil Ibrahim reports.
In recent years, Nigeria witnessed unprecedented cases of irregularities and criminal exploitation in organ donations and transplantation.
On no account should anybody force somebody to receive organ, even if that person is sick. And on no account should anybody force anybody to donate organ.
For many patients, it is a matter of life and death. But organ transplantation provides hope and the possibility of returning to a fulfilling life.
Which address the following: kidney transplantation, liver transplantation, which is not being done so much yet in the country, eye tissue, or people say cornea transplantation.
If there are consequences and punishments that need to be put in place, then we can count on the House of Reps to present the bill before the House and have the President to assent to it.
And like it is commonly said, where there is effective regulation, there is sanity. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu extends heartfelt wishes to all Christians in Nigeria and worldwide on the commencement of the 2025 Lenten season. The president describes the 40-day period, which began on Ash Wednesday, as a sacred one of fasting, prayers, and repentance in preparation for the joyous celebration of Easter. He urges Nigerians to embrace the love of Jesus Christ by showing compassion, empathy, and a helping hand to those around them, just as they pray for the nation in its drive to consolidate on the progresses achieved in its economic transformation drive. All right, we'll be heading straight to Jos now for more on Nationwide.
Hello and welcome to Jos. Plateau State Technical Committee on Mining Reform is calling on stakeholders to support the temporary suspension of all mining activities to restore sanity in the sector. This was while addressing newsmen in Jos on the development in the mining sector. Ndayang and Ebegang has more.
Plateau State has been in the forefront of mining activities since 1902. However, the indigenization decree of 1970 and closure of Nigerian Mining Corporation led to the exit of mechanized mining outfits, leaving a vacuum that was subsequently filled by unregulated and illegal activities. For Plateau government, it is disheartening that young men and women are abandoning their education for artisanal mining, thereby exposing themselves to exploitation, drug abuse, and other life-threatening health hazards.
There's a need for us to work together. Plateau is endangered by this illegal mining that is going on at the moment. And except each and every one of us take responsibility on how to deal with these issues, it will continually be a problem. It is incumbent on us as the people of Plateau to cooperate to support the government to achieve this result.
The State Technical Committee on Mining Reform has the following responsibilities:
generation of data on mining sites, minerals being mined, and buying and processing centers, documentation of degraded land as a result of illegal mining activities for future reclamation efforts.
The committee called on stakeholders to collaborate with it and sensitize citizens on the importance of legal mining for better economic gains. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
Slim 13 participants of the JOS concluded training at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, say they are better equipped to make contributions towards achieving organizational goals in their various establishments. This was at a dinner after their training in NIPS. Ijoma Ozemena has more.
The training, which attracted participants from the public and private sectors, was on strategic leadership, ethics, and policy making. For them, the exercise is rewarding as it has improved their leadership skills and modified their character.
We are going to do a lot of implementation of what we learned because our own knowledge has been widened on leadership.
This is just to give us more knowledge on leadership and how to formulate policy and implement them.
This program offered by NIPS, as much as I can recall, offers perhaps the best opportunity I've ever came across.
The participants, through their representative, expressed appreciation to NIPS for the knowledge gained, promising to apply it to move their organization forward.
Women at all levels in Nigeria and corporate entities should, as a matter of policy, continue to invest in human capacity development to raise leaders that are equipped with the right skills, knowledge, and tools to cope with emerging leadership challenges.
Management of NIPS says it will sustain training and retraining of officers for the achievement of organizational goals.
I want to congratulate you once more for the milestone, believing that all that has been taught by the time you retire to your various establishments, you'll be able to bring it to bear.
A total of 64 participants from the public and private sectors attended the leadership training in Jos. Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. Ugochukwu is still standing by in our Abuja studio. Good evening.
Good evening, Mary. Thanks for your contribution. Now, former President Olusegun Obasanjo wants citizens to unite against the country's challenges and work together towards a brighter future. This was at a public lecture in Abeokuta, Ogun State, to mark his 88th birthday. Hakim Jimo has details.
Dignitaries, including serving and former top government functionaries and other personalities, came from home and abroad to celebrate with former President Olusegun Obasanjo at 88. A guest lecturer, Professor Egosa Osage, who dwelt on the topic, Echoes of the Past, Visions of the Future, Reflections on Slavery and Colonization and Nigeria's Journey Towards a Promising Future, believes that Nigerians and Africans will not forget in a hurry the negative impact of slave trade and slavery to the economy of the continent.
It was a state that had forced labor. It was a state that had forced taxation. It was a state that didn't care for the people. It was a state that regarded them as conquered subjects and as natives. And therefore, there was no ownership of that state. So the alienness of that state provoked a crisis of legitimacy that, has not been resolved till today.
A man whose life has been defined by service, courage, and an unrelenting commitment to the progress of Nigeria and Africa. He has shaped the course of our nation's political and economic trajectory with remarkable vision and leadership.
Good governance, good leadership will get there, so that people will know that we have Africans that are true Africans that is respected worldwide.
Nigeria past and future. It is for us to see where we have all gone wrong, without any exception, as a group. And then, if there is a way out, and if there is a way out, what is the way out?
Two books titled Lest We Forget, Slavery, Slave Trade, Emancipation and Reparation, as well as Nigeria, Past and the Future, authored by former President Obasanjo, were unveiled and presented to the public. In Abeokuta, Akim Jimo, NTA News.
First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says rather than see the joint observance of the holy month of Ramadan and Lenten season as mere coincidence, Nigerians should see it as God's way of demonstrating his desire for unity among them. She made the remark while addressing State House correspondents on the sideline of the 2025 RHI quarterly meeting with state coordinators.
Is one God and is only going to be one God forever. So, and whichever means everybody is going to seek that God, this is the time to seek him. And because God is actually inside every human being, because we're created in his image. But when we say image, do we all look alike? No, we all have to just embody the character of God to be like God, that created us, that wanted us to be like him. So, and that is about being God-fearing.
International Women's Day slated for March 8, the First Lady praised women in the country for building homes and making the nation proud.
Women, I celebrate you. Keep doing what you know how to do, lifting your head high. And I know with what is going on in the Senate, you say, why am I not taking a position? I believe that Senate is doing what is needful, because that's what it is. It's an inside place, and it's a matured chambers, and it should be treated with respect. It's an honor for you to be in that place alone. I was there for 12 years.
Brigadier General Kunle Nafiu has taken over the mantle of leadership as Director General, National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, following his appointment by President Bola Tinubu. Elizabeth Omori reports on the handing and taking over ceremony in Abuja.
That's the new sheriff in town, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, the 23rd Director General of the NYSC. As he takes over the helm of affairs, he hints that his mandate will hinge on quality and transparent leadership to drive the objectives of the scheme while exploring innovative ideas to build capacities of core members.
My team and I shall work tirelessly to devise means of enhancing camp feeding, hygiene, and kitting of our core members. Similarly, I shall relentlessly ensure that administrative issues are disposed of as quickly as possible.
The former Director General, who left indelible prints, calls on the staff to exert same energy, professionalism, and commitment to assist the new Director General achieve his goals.
I wish General Nafiu every success in this noble task ahead. May his tenure be marked by groundbreaking achievements.
Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu is an alumnus of the United States Army War College, as well as graduate of the Indian and Nigerian Army War Colleges. He was a United Nations military observer in Sudan. Prior to his appointment as DG NYC, he served as Chief of Staff to the current Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Oluyede, and his predecessor, Elizabeth Omori. NTA News.
The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening the existing bonds of cooperation with Ghana in areas of mutual interest, including trade, education, security, and regional integration. A congratulatory message by Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, felicitates with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of the Republic of Ghana, Samuel Okuzeto Ablakwa, on the occasion of the country's 68th independence anniversary. The statement adds that on the auspicious occasion, the government and people of Nigeria wish the government and people of Ghana continued peace, prosperity, and success in all their endeavors. Now, following our thorough review of the selection process, subsequent ministerial intervention, and in line with the federal government's commitment to merit and fairness, the Federal Ministry of Education confirms that Professor Christopher Obogbo is the most eligible candidate for the position of Substantive Vice-Chancellor of Admiralty University of Nigeria, Ibuzo, Delta State. The Director of Press and Public Relations to the ministry, Folashade Boriowe, in a press statement says this is contrary to recent misleading reports making the rounds. The director says the ministry discovered that due process was meticulously followed in the selection process, culminating in the appointment of Professor Christopher Ogbogbo as the substantive Vice-Chancellor. Additionally, the Federal Ministry of Education has noted the disclassification of the Council's 21st Extraordinary Meeting report of 26th and 27th February 2025, which is designed to promote full transparency. The ministry affirms that the appointment of the Governing Council of Adon Alliance with the provisions of the Admiralty University of Nigeria Establishment Act 2022 and other extant provisions regulating the affairs of the university. And on that note, we conclude the bulletin at this hour. Thank you for watching.